Islam Makhachev plans a permanent move to welterweight as he has no one to fight at 155. Makhachev's manager recently hinted that the UFC is already discussing major plans for the lightweight champion's next fight, while ruling out matchups against Charles Oliveira, Arman Tsarukyan, and Ilia Topuria. Makhachev himself, however, has expressed interest in defending his title against Justin Gaethje, depending on the outcome of Justin's upcoming UFC 313 bout with Dan Hooker. Despite this possibility, the 33-year-old champion has made it clear that he is considering a permanent move to welterweight, citing the lack of viable contenders left for him at lightweight. In a Russian interview with Whittaker, Islam stated, quote, "I don't see a lot of work to do in my division. I beat almost everybody. I think about moving up to 170 and I can stay there. I don't want to make any statements about Belal Muhammad or Shavkat Rakhmonov. We will see how the fight goes. I have not spoken to the UFC since my last fight. We need to sit and talk about these moments." End quote. Could Islam fight his teammate Belal next? His potential move to welterweight remains a topic of intrigue, largely because of the complications it presents with his teammate currently holding the division's belt. His head coach Khabib Nurmagomedov has made it clear that he would not be okay with Makhachev fighting Muhammad, but also made it clear that it's up to Islam to make the decision. Makhachev's competitive drive and desire to cement his place in history may push him to pursue the welterweight title eventually. With Islam targeting a return to action in July, he will likely wait for the outcome of the upcoming Muhammad vs. Rakhmonov bout before making any concrete decisions about his future in the welterweight division. How about that? How do you see Islam matching up against Belal or Shavkat? Leave your comments below. Khamzat Chimaev promises to become a champion this year. Despite only having fought once in late 2024, Khamzat believes he has what it takes to win UFC middleweight gold this year. Borz is currently ranked number 3 at middleweight behind Israel Adesanya, Sean Strickland, and champion Dricus du Plessis. Taking to Instagram today, Khamzat was keen to let his fans know again that he's coming for the belt. "In 2025, I will take this belt and no one can stop it." With Khamzat's current trend of 1 fight per year, we could see him take on the winner of du Plessis and Strickland later in the year. If, for whatever reason, Khamzat's direct path to the title falls through, one intriguing option is the winner of Israel Adesanya versus Nassroudine Imavov at UFC Riyadh. With the current middleweight title picture cluttered by potential rematches, a fight between Adesanya and Chimaev would make perfect sense if a title shot isn't immediately on the table. On the other hand, Imavov could face Khamzat in a title eliminator. Rockhold accuses Khamzat of ducking. Former UFC middleweight champion Luke Rockhold has accused Khamzat of avoiding a fight with him, claiming the UFC was attempting to book their matchup for his comeback bout in 2022. In a recent interview with Submission Radio, former champ accused Chimaev of turning down a fight against him after claiming he was originally set to face Khamzat instead of Paulo Costa. Quote, "Khamzat turned down a fight with me when I was supposed to come back, my first fight back against Paulo Costa. They tried to book that fight. Khamzat didn't want to play. I said yes to the fight right before I faced him. It didn't happen." End quote. Robert Whittaker shared his thoughts on the Israel Adesanya versus Nassroudine Imavov fight at UFC Riyadh, breaking it down in detail. Rob emphasized Izzy's signature use of feints and his ability to control fights from a distance, which he expects to play a key role. Whittaker believes Izzy will have a strong performance, predicting he'll pick Imavov apart with his striking if he sticks to his strengths. However, Whittaker also acknowledged the danger the Frenchman brings to the table, particularly his grappling. He praised Imavov's ability to take opponents' backs and control them, suggesting this will likely be his primary focus in the fight. According to Rob, Imavov's path to victory lies in closing the distance and taking Izzy to the ground. For Adesanya, the key will be to avoid giving up his back, as Imavov excels in those positions. Whittaker envisions a clash of styles, with Adesanya working to keep the fight standing and Imavov looking to turn it into a grappling match.
Well, let's just look at Adesanya and Imavov, right? It's so hard for me to bet against Adesanya in just about any matchup. I think his spacing, his control of the space, the way he utilizes his counters, his aggressive fighting, his pressure with his length, his feints, make him very hard to take down. And if you're not taking him down, you're having like a long night in the office, okay? Now, understandably, he lost against Dricus last fight, but I think he turned up phenomenally for that fight. I think his striking was on point, crystal clear. Dricus is just tough as shit, dude. Like, I think we see a very, it's going to be a good night for him in the office. But okay? Imavov's grappling's very good, okay? He gets the back of just about every opponent he fights. That's kind of where the fight wins for him. He doesn't beat Izzy in a 5-round striking contest.
In an exclusive interview with the Spanish MMA media channel El Chiringuito, now translated into English, featherweight champ Ilia Topuria revealed his next fight. Contrary to recent speculation, El Matador confirmed that his next bout will not be against Islam Makhachev. Despite his ambitions of becoming a 2-division champion, UFC president Dana White has been hesitant to greenlight Ilia's pursuit of the lightweight title without multiple featherweight defenses under his belt. Additionally, El Matador's timeline for his return doesn't align with Makhachev's schedule, as the Georgian-Spanish fighter plans to fight in April or May. Instead, the champion confirmed that his next fight will be at featherweight, defending his 145-pound title for the first time. I really want to fight Makhachev and become a double champion, but right now, our timelines don't match up. I'm aiming for a return in May, while Islam has just fought recently and won't be ready for a fight with me that soon. So given the timing, my next fight will definitely be a defense of my featherweight title. Once I take care of business there, I'll turn my attention to the lightweight division. While Ilia didn't reveal who his next opponent will be, all signs point to Alexander Volkanovski. Volk has already stated publicly that negotiations with Dana White are going well, and that he expects to rematch the champ next. This lines up perfectly with El Matador's timeline for a return in May, making it likely that the featherweight king will face the division's former longtime champion in his first title defense. If this fight gets finalized, Alex will have the chance to avenge his devastating loss to the champ and reclaim the featherweight title. For a fighter as determined as Volk, getting his belt back would mean everything, especially after such a brutal defeat. However, given how their first fight unfolded, it's difficult to see him turning the tables. El Matador's power, precision, and ability to dictate the pace of a fight were on full display in their first encounter. He overwhelmed Volkanovski, exposing cracks in the former champion's armor that we hadn't seen before. Ilia's mix of sharp striking, heavy hands made him a nightmare to deal with. Unless Volk can find a way to avoid those openings and impose his own game plan, it's going to be another tall order to get the win. That said, Volk is one of the most resilient and cerebral fighters in the UFC. He's made a career out of overcoming adversity, and his ability to adapt between fights is second to none. With the right adjustments, a well-executed strategy, and his trademark toughness, Alex absolutely has the tools to make this a more competitive fight. But El Matador isn't just a new champion, he's a champion with the skills and confidence to dominate his division. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for daily MMA news.